Haman went out that day joyfully and glad of heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he neither rose nor trembled before him, he was filled with wrath against Mordecai. It is Thursday, the 14th day of September 2023, and it's time for the reading of our devotional thought for today. And I'm reading from the devotional book entitled Truth for Life, 365 Daily Devotions by Pastor Alistair Begg. Today's devotional thought is entitled Consumed by Pride. That's consumed by pride. And the verse today, Esther chapter 5, verse 9, and it reads, Haman went out that day joyfully and glad of heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he neither rose nor trembled before him, he was filled with wrath against Mordecai. That's Esther chapter 5, verse 9. Alistair Begg writes, Haman was an egomaniac. He surrounded himself with those who would listen to his incessant talking about himself and who would periodically acknowledge his significance and greatness. He lived with the mistaken notion that he was the center of the universe. Haman would fit perfectly in contemporary Western culture, where social media feeds and news outlets are often littered with stories of those who apparently have done little of true significance, but who live for and expect attention and recognition. Of course, our hearts are not much different in their proud desire for pride. The difference is often not that we are more godly, but that we lack the opportunity to showcase ourselves. So it was that after Haman attended the exclusive banquet put on by Queen Esther, he left joyful and glad of heart at the elevated position in the kingdom that has seen him invited as the honored guest. Yet all the enjoyment, prestige, and accolades were insignificant to prevent him from becoming entirely disabled by the fact that Mordecai did not stand when Haman passed by. His joy was so brittle that this one apparent slight caused wrath to consume him. Pride does that to a person. Nothing can ever satisfy. For the proud person, there is always another promotion, another award, another dollar to aim for, something else beyond their reach. King Solomon writes of such a person, quote, Do you see a man who is wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. And that's Proverbs chapter 26, verse 12. This was true in Haman's life. It was pride that drove him to plot murder, even a massacre. It was pride that meant he could not enjoy what he had, but could only be angry at what he did not have. We may shake our heads at Haman's pride, but then we read in God's Word of how Jesus, God Himself, emptied Himself by taking the form of a servant, being born in the likeness of man, and being found in human form, He humbled Himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even death on a cross. Philippians 2, verses 7 and 8. And we are forced to ask whether we are more like that or like Haman. When we thoughtfully consider Jesus' pattern of humility, we see the truth of our own prideful hearts. We would do well to echo the words of George Whitefield. Oh, that I could always see myself in proper colors. I believe I should have little reason to fall down and worship myself. God be merciful to me, a sinner. As we witness Haman's pride and eventual downfall, and we look inside ourselves, surely we are prompted to cry out for God's mercy to help us walk in humility like Jesus. For God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. James chapter 4, verse 6. May we find God giving us grace today and not opposing us. Remember, He resists the proud, but He gives grace to the humble. Our devotional thought today, consumed by pride, going through the book of Esther once again. And for those of you reading through the scriptures, your assignment today, the book of Judges, chapter 19 through 21, and John's Gospel, chapter 6, verses 1 through 21. And may the Lord richly bless you. Give you a great day.